What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic weekend. We're here. It is Sunday, and I promised you I would get this out no matter what was going on today, and been quite busy here this past week trying to get this damn draft series out, but of course, my stupid birthday has to fall on right in the middle of when I'm trying to do this stuff. So quite annoying, but we're here tonight to talk some birds. And this is not a live video, but I would still love to hear your thoughts down below. We'll do this with every single position like we do each year here. We'll go through, we'll talk about what the Eagles have within the draft picks, what they have at that position. Of course, all of the people that are prospects and, of course, the top fits. So I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Appreciate you hitting that like button, subscribing, all the things you're doing to support the channel. Cannot thank you enough. But let's jump right into this bad boy and continue to check the playlist, because I will continue adding to this and show me the money, roster moves, anything you're looking for. There's information, but draft season is here, baby. We are a few weeks away, and I'm quite excited. So let's get it started by looking at what the Eagles have with their draft picks. Obviously made some trades, so some things moved around. Some mistakes were made with the picks, so some things, got changed. In case you missed that, you can see the 8 picks that the Eagles have: a first, 2 seconds, a fourth, 3 fifths, and a sixth. So look, Howie, he's got a lot of ammo to play with, and not just this season. And obviously some real good picks there. I'm sure you could move up, move back, anything is possible, but you've got ammo to use here. 6 picks next year. We traded away 2 of those 7ths when we got Kenny Pickett. And obviously that 3rd rounder this year turned into a 4th when we moved back 22 spots, acquired an extra 3rd in 2026 for Hassan Reddick, and that could become a 2nd round pick. So Howie's got lots and lots of ammo here. And for me, excitement abound for this Eagles team. Really been adding things, looking well this offseason. We talked about the quarterback position. Clearly, I feel really good about that. And you added some good backups behind QB1. So excited there. And some familiar ones that know this system. And I'm all about it. So let's talk about these running backs, and a position I'm quite excited about. I'll show you for each of these where I have them on the positions of need. And running back, as you can see, is at number 8. Now, some strong positions here, so doesn't need to be even in the top half. But I think, obviously getting someone like Saquon, yeah, that's great. But you could still look to add there, because behind them, Boston Scott's still a free agent. Maybe you bring him back. Rashad Penny's out there. Doubt it. He couldn't even beat out Boston Scott last year. But you've got Kenny Gainwell here. Tyrion Davis-Price was added, and Lou Nichols. So you've got some competition, but I think the Eagles could definitely look to add in this draft. And it doesn't have to be a high pick, but maybe you do. Maybe you take somebody that can learn from Saquon. You got a great 1-2 punch, and he's the future, whoever this person is. Dude, they could do anything. Really depends on how they like these guys in the draft, but some exciting prospects here. So we're going to break it down, talk about these prospects, but you can see the Eagles with Saquon Barkley behind this offensive line, I think is really going to shine. So not dire need, but definitely a position you can add to. You can always add its best player available. And if there's a stud out there, and there's a lot of talent in this running back class, I think it's not one of the better, like when you're talking about like up front. This is one of those drafts where there's just a lot of good talent out there, where I feel that you could just draft somebody, in the 5th, 6th round, where you might find a gem, because some of these guys, it's hard to, okay, I like this guy because of this. And there's nobody truly, well, let's just talk about it. Let's take a look here and let me explain myself, but love to hear your thoughts. Maybe there's some guys that aren't on this list, and I'm sure there are somebody you like, you want to bring up, let me know. But we're going to start it off taking a look at these guys that are, in my opinion, probably going to go at the end of day 3, undrafted here. But the way I like to do this is I try to pick guys from each list, especially at a position where I don't feel like it's dire need. There's so many damn good running backs in like a small chunk here that we're going to look at, that it was hard for me to get to any of these guys. But look, if you add somebody as an undrafted guy after the draft, I'd be excited. You got Kendall Milton there from Georgia, Schrader from Missouri, Strong, Southern Illinois, McClellan, Alabama. These guys, I would not be against. Halani, I think there's some intriguing prospects. You see Carson Steele from UCLA. I would be pumped, man. There are definitely some intriguing names on this list, but that, again, just goes to show you what I mean by there's a lot of talent where I think you could really find a diamond in the rough this way, where it's not going to be, oh, this guy's clear cut, this is this. And look, the top guys, I think the top few, but even that's debatable. So we'll talk about that in a second. But you can see the guys I have at the back of day 3. And then this, day 3, they could be maybe some fourth rounders. Kamani Vidal, I think, could definitely be somebody that goes before round 5. He could be round 4. Hell, someone could take him in round 3. This kid's really talented. You got guys like Amani Bailey, Rasheen Ali, Isaiah Davis, Dylan Johnson, even Dylan Laub. I liked a lot of these guys and wanted to put them on my top fits. And I just was like, man, but then I got to cut out this guy. And I hate this. I hate this part because I want to make 346 graphics and I just don't have the time to do that. But Frank Gore Jr. is on there, Jawar Jordan from Louisville. But you could see the guys that I think a little bit better that, hey, they could still definitely go in round 7. These guys could go undrafted for sure. Jaden Sheridan, I think that's more of a sleeper for me. But these are guys that I think could go a little bit higher. And then I've only got one list here where I don't have anybody as a first rounder. Maybe somebody takes a shot. I don't know. But this is all over the place, all the way from round 2 to round 4 here for me. Because, look, I think guys like Benson, Brooks, maybe even a Wright, Corum and Allen go in the second round, but possibly the third. And then you're looking at guys like Marshon Lloyd, who I think could go in that range, but maybe he drops. Will Shipley, Esteem, Endo, Davis, Irving, Tracy, a lot of guys I'm going to talk about. And I think that it's really going to be intriguing to see how these guys go. And you know how I'm doing this. I'm not breaking this down as to who the best running backs are and giving you my list of this guy's this. That's why I give it kind of a broad range as to where I think the Eagles, should be looking at these positions and where I think you could kind of get them in those rounds. So that list right there, I think that's a very possible range for the Eagles. If they're looking to the future, Saquon Barkley, I think, not being the focal point like it was for the Giants, having a good offensive line, having a good quarterback, good receivers, taking, all that pressure off of him is going to really help him. So I think he's got a lot left in the tank. So you don't have to necessarily go high, but if there's a good running back, I know how he doesn't draft. Dude, I don't care about that stuff. I think for me, it's best player available. If there's somebody they see, they'd rather have a young guy than have to pay him. So you run these years with Saquon, you have somebody in case, because we know who Kenny G is, but we got to find out about Tyrion Davis-Price, Lou Nichols, who I like both of those guys. So it made this very intriguing to talk about in the sense of where we want to look for these guys. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, but I'm going to give you my top 12 fits because I literally had like 20 some. I'm like, dude, you got to cut it down. And I kept like, oh, I can't. And there's seriously that some of those guys on that second list there, I really wanted to put on here and I'm kind of pissed off I didn't, but there's just some guys I want to talk about. And we're going to do that right now. And we're going to start it off with Bucky Irving at number 12. And I know for a lot of people, Bucky Irving might be a little bit higher. And yeah, he went to Oregon, so he's got the fancy colors and all that fun stuff. But he is an intriguing prospect. And I think, 5'10", 195, transferred from Minnesota to Oregon there. But this is a kid that, he runs a 4.5 40. He's not, for his size, what people like, the way people talk about him, how they explain him. I just don't know that he is that. I mean, he is a playmaker. Do not get me wrong. This dude, and it's so weird. Like, he runs a 4.5, but when you watch him, he looks super fast. So I do like this kid a lot. And he's got good vision. I think that, he's somebody that helps you in the pass game, as you see here, 8.3 yards per reception, 20.1 yards per game. He is somebody that helps you in a plethora of ways. And look, I would be all over, grabbing a guy like a Bucky Irving to add to this because he's a little bit different, clearly than what we have here. And he helps you in the return game. So add a little bit of weight to him. I think that, he is definitely somebody that could grow into something special. So it could use a lot of work in his pass protection, though. So that's something that concerns me. But I think very talented, and this kid's going to shine. And I have a bunch of people in front of him because this was hard. I had him near like top 7, top 6 range, I think, at some point. And it just kept, I don't know. The further I got to making the show, I just kept moving things around. And it's just, I like a lot of these guys. And up next, I really like this kid. And, Ray Davis, a great story there. And I'm not even going to harp on it because it's just ridiculous how much they try to make of that. Let's talk about what he does on the field. And this dude, to me, Raymond Davis, but you'll hear him known as Ray Davis out there out of Kentucky, but spent time at Temple a few years ago and then at Vanderbilt. Now, this is a guy, obviously, 3,600 yards, 29 touchdowns, 4.9 yards per rush. You like to, see the stats here, and that's what I'm showing you, but he's a powerful dude, man. If you look him up, I really wish I could still show you a video. He's somebody that not only is he a tough runner, but he can catch the ball too, something I am looking for with these guys. And, as a versatile back, that's something you need. And just a red zone hunter, 29 touchdowns there, 12 receiving touchdowns. That's what I like to see. Now, not exactly the fastest guy, and he also not a great pass protector. So definitely needs to work on some things. Why I got him a little lower here, but I would be all about getting someone like a Ray Davis. And this is somebody we talked about, maybe he goes in that 4th round, but maybe he drops a little bit into the 5th and, maybe they really like him and take a stab at a running back like him. And another guy, I think, I just mentioned there earlier, he was on my 3rd page, but I really think this kid is going to be a steal in this draft. And I think that, a team could definitely take a stab at him a little bit sooner than that round I was talking about. And, for me, Kamani Vidal is somebody, another one. And look, he's got a 4.4, mid 4.4, 40. He's somebody that I think, could definitely, he's so weird to watch. Like over 4,000 yards, 33 rushing touchdowns in his 4 years there at Troy, but he's 5'8", 215. So I don't know if anyone is going to, try to draft him. It's really hard for me to try to figure that out for him, but I had him on that list, but regardless, his size, man, he actually is a good pass protector. Unlike those other guys, he's a tough little dude, and he's got some great burst. I am a fan of him. He can catch the ball, as you can see here, 7.6 yards per reception. I'm a fan of his game, and he's somebody that, he doesn't have that size, but that's something you can work on. And he's not exactly the fastest guy, but again, he's got like that 4.46 40 speed. So I'm a fan of Kamani Vidal, and if that's somebody who has fallen down the draft, he becomes available, that's something I would like to take a stab at. So I'm all about it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the few of those guys we just looked at. If you're a fan or you got somebody else in mind, stay tuned. Maybe they will pop up. But up next, I think one of the best, probably my number 2 running back in this draft. I know a lot of people's number 1, and rightfully so, man. This kid, without that injury, obviously be pretty sure as to, these kids going in maybe the 1st round. But I think they could fall a little bit. 3 years at Texas. Obviously, what was going on in front of him the last couple of years, but he finally got a chance to start 8 starts there in 23 games, over 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns. He's got 2 receiving touchdowns there. And again, limited when you've got guys, like Bijan, Roshan, and all kinds of things going down. So I think that Jonathan Brooks is very talented. Obviously, that injury is going to scare a lot of people, but I think he's going to be one of the best guys. Now, the reason I have him at number 9 here is due to the fact that I think that the Eagles don't necessarily have to go super high, and I think this kid could go in the 2nd or 3rd. I don't want to use one of those 2nd-round picks, and we don't have one till the 4th, but the Eagles can always trade, so don't know there. Now, if you're going to go higher, number 8, if we're doing a top list, this is my number 1. Like, this is, in my opinion, the best running back in this draft, with the upside where you take a dude like this because you think he is going to be a superstar for you. And rightfully so, man. Trey Benson. And another thing, with the injury where it scares people away, but this mother 4.39 40 speed, 6'1", 223, 4 years experience. He played at Oregon before transferring to Florida State there. And this dude can do it all. He's decent at pass blocking. He can catch the ball. Not the greatest, but I mean, he is just a running back. When you watch him, dude, he's got great speed. He's got burst, acceleration. I think this is somebody, one of those downhill workhorse runners that, I just think is the perfect prototypical running back that you're looking for. And I think, he's just somebody that could obviously use some work in the passing game and also in pass protection, but 11.2 yards per reception. He's got a touchdown there. Obviously, if you're looking at the stats, you think pretty damn good. But, when you get injured like that, I think people get scared. So maybe he falls a little bit. You take a shot at someone like Trey Benson, who can obviously help you all over, and he can also kick return. So that's something you start him out as a young man, see if he continues to develop, stay healthy, and, you let him learn from a Saquon. He doesn't, have too much tread, but obviously that injury, it's going to scare you. So, hey, man, Trey Benson, I think, in my opinion, the best running back in this class. And I can't wait to see where he goes and what he does. And I would be excited if that were with the Eagles. Now, talking about those top running backs, again, I'm kind of going backwards here because, well, I think Benson's better than Brooks. He's my number 1, but I think Jaylen Wright, man, this would be, if he starts falling, you acquire a third round pick, you move back with one of those seconds, or you move up from that fourth, or maybe he's in the fourth. Like, that would be crazy. But hey, again, I don't know how people are looking at these running backs, how much you need to go after running backs, super high in this draft. So I think they could fall a little bit here. But Jaylen Wright, 13 starts there, over 2,200, almost 23 there. He has 18 touchdowns, 0 in the pass game, though. But I think Jaylen Wright, to me, is one of those guys that I don't know necessarily that people are sleeping on him. I think they know that, he's one of the better running backs in this class. But this is a dude in his 3 years that I thought was pretty damn impressive. And he's got a 4.3840. And obviously, another guy who could use a little work in pass protection. But I think, in the pass game, a little bit better. Dude is a beast in breaking tackles. The yards after contact, I just think he is somebody. If we were to draft him, I would literally be losing my mind. He's one of those like slasher backs that I just love. And I think, he's one of those violent downhill runners that we talk about. And I think that he's somebody I'm telling you, he would be perfect for this offense. And, I think he's a decent blocker. We talked about got to work on things, but he's so young that he's such a playmaker that I would want him to actually, just develop. And I would watch every second of it and be super excited for a guy like him. And I think, just add on a little bit of weight. I think that he's just kind of plays skinny. And I think that he just needs overall refined. And I think that he's going to be one of the best running backs that come out of this class. So if he's somebody that drops, I am going to take him. If he's going high, though, not so sure. And that's why I've got him down here. Now, this is really tough for me between even Marshon Lloyd and Jaylen Wright. Like, I really struggle to tell you which one I like better because I really like both of them. And Marshon Lloyd, to me, 5'9", 215, 4 years. He transferred from South Carolina there to USC. And he is somebody who I'm telling you, I would be ecstatic about. I think when watching him, I don't want to compare him to Le'Veon Bell, but just the way he was like tiptoeing and doing things. And he surprises you that he runs a 4.4 speed. I mean, but if you watch him, he's the one thing that I really can't stand is I did not see great things from his pass protection. Decent in the pass game, but definitely needs to work on some things. And I think this is somebody that he's got such great burst. He's such a quick little dude, great long speed. He's somebody that I think for me, he's just a great football player. And I think we talk about the contact balance, the yards after contact, the stuff that he is able to do. That is somebody that I think he just needs, again, another guy that needs refined and needs to work on his pass protection. He's definitely much worse than Wright, but I think he is so talented and fun to watch. I would be pretty ecstatic to get a guy like Marshon Lloyd on the Philadelphia Eagles. Now let's jump into this top 5. Would love to hear your thoughts on all these guys so far. Is somebody missing? Are you hoping to see somebody? Is there a diamond in the rough that I am missing? Love to hear your thoughts. But at number 5, we've got Tyrone Tracy Jr. And this dude, spent some time at Iowa before going to Purdue. Spent 6 years in college there, and he's 6'1", 205, but this dude is really fun to watch, and I would recommend going and checking him out. For me, this is a guy I, again, would be pretty excited. Now, he runs a 4.4840, and he's not super great at a lot of things, but he was a converted wide receiver, and, a little guy with some things that I think obviously they're going to have to work on some things as a running back in the NFL, but he's kind of like a gadget player where I think, you can use him. He's got great hands, and I think, he's a physical little guy. I just think he definitely needs to, if he's going to be a running back, I'm all about using him, and as a return man, just a weapon. This guy on the field, he can do some things. You see as a receiver over 1,200 yards, so more yards receiving than he has as a running back. But this past year, he got a chance to start and really shine. So I think for me, you look at a guy like Tracy, he obviously, to me, is somebody that you obviously want to take as a project, so not too high in this draft, but I'm a fan of him, and I thought that he did pretty well. Got some starting action last couple of years. Last year, though, 9 starts. So this is somebody, to me, he would be a fun project to check out if he falls down and you're looking, in the 6th round. With one of those picks, hey, why the hell not? Maybe even in the 5th, you got 3 of those picks. I think he is a fun kid to watch. Go check him out. Now, At number 4. Now, I left off some people that I know that obviously you guys are going to be talking about and wondering where or why. And a guy like Blake Corum, I think, I left him off this list, but I do like him. Just some concerns with them being such a great team, what he looks like without it. I had to pick between people, and it just is what it is. Blake Corum, honorable mention. I like him, but why not go get a guy like Aundre Ese? And I think that this is a dude where you see over 2,300 yards, not exactly great in the pass catching game, but this is that bulldozer I know you guys are always looking for in the offseason. But this is one that I honestly get excited watching him there at Notre Dame. I thought that he was somebody that really, his game could translate to the NFL. And, at 5'11, 233, this kid is a little truck. And again, this is one of those people where if in the 4th round, okay, I could see him going there. Maybe if he falls in the 5th, one of those picks, you want to take him. I am not against it, but a physical guy like him, that's what I want. I want a guy that just runs people over. That contact balance is something he also has, that yards after contact. We want that with these guys. And I know that you hear Eagles fans asking for, we need a short goal line guy, but clearly we have the Philly special. I'm just talking about a guy that would obviously have to work on, his route running, catching the ball, things like that. But I think, you're not bringing him in for that. And I don't think he's the greatest in pass protection, but he's got that size. So you talk about it, you never know with the right coaching, what these guys could do. And, last year, you talk about different guys where obviously this is something I think the Eagles, I would kind of to relieve Jalen Hurts a little bit. But you've got Saquon here, so it's not dire need. And this dude, he runs like a 4.7 40, so he's not super fast. He's not going to jump off the charts. So if he falls, I would be all about it. Now at number 3, oh, man, Will Shipley. This kid, he was really fun to watch. And, out of Clemson, 3 years spent there, 5'11", 210. This dude is a playmaker, dual threat, and he is fun to watch. A 4.39 40. He sucks at pass protection. So that's something he's going to have to work on. I know I've held it against some of these other guys, but he's got that speed. He's got that burst. He's somebody that I like, can help you in the pass game, can run the ball. You're seeing a narrative with a lot of these guys. And, as much as I say he sucks, I think he could work on some things and be a decent pass protector. That's why there is hope. That's why I've got him high on this list. So these guys, they're young. They're going to be, not great at certain things, but a lot of times that's the system, the coaching, why they're not being taught these things. And I think, he's had some issues with fumbling. So again, I think this kid just needs coached up. And I think the sky is the limit for someone like Will Shipley. And for me, you get a kid like him falling, sign me up. He's only 21 years old. If you see him in the 5th round, I would definitely consider taking him there. And hey, why not, man? And I think, as Will Shipley, somebody that can help you in the return game, adding that to your game, that's something that I'm all about. So let's jump into the top 2 here. And you can see at number 2, we've got Braylon Allen, and this is another bulldozer. And go check him out. This is somebody that you guys will really enjoy watching. And now, again, we're not talking about, the Eagles just need to get, power backs every year. I think this kid is really effing fun to watch. 4.4 40. He's 6'2", 245 pounds. You heard me correctly, man. This dude is a freak of nature. He made it onto that Bruce Feldman's freak list that we talk about each year. A lot of those freaks are on my list as well, just because of his dude. The size of this dude, the speed and strength, that combination, he is just nuts. That contact balance is something that everything he puts on the field, he is fun to watch. And one, physical back on this roster, I think is great, but let's get another one and really wear teams out. And I think that, this is a guy, he shows you right here, he can catch the ball, no receiving touchdowns, but 49 receptions there. Somebody that I think, obviously, if you work on his pass game, his pass protection, a lot of these guys will have that in college, and that's fine, man. To get to the NFL, you just got to work on some things. But to me, I really like Braylon Allen, and I would be ecstatic to get the Wisconsin kid on this roster. And we talk about it around that range where maybe he's going, in that 4th round. If he falls in like the 5th or something, this kid, I think he could really be a stud in the NFL. And I had him at number 1, man. And I kept flip-flopping back and forth, and obviously he didn't make it. But let's just call it 1B, because 1A here, man, whoo, am I a big fan of this kid. And again, this isn't the top running backs in the draft. This is my top fits as to where I think the Eagles should be looking as to their talent and where what they're doing here in the draft. Now, Isaac Endo here. Oh, yeah, this is somebody, and you're probably wondering, hey, did he mess that up? Nope, that's just one start, 40 games. And we talked about Jordan there over in Louisville as well a second ago in this video. But, Wisconsin was where he originally started, had a transfer there. And look, trying to find time, 6'1", 225, another one of these freak athletes, a 4.33 40. This dude is a freak of nature and can help you in the pass game, run all over you, can help you. Dude, looking at him, he's like one of those gazelles you see out there, one of those slasher backs that can help you in the return. I mean, you just want the ball in this dude's hands. I am a big fan of him, just the way his burst, man. And, we talk about all those things that people couldn't do. He's somebody that I actually like his blocking. I think he could work on some things, definitely inside, but I just think this kid has the whole package here. He just looks like that NFL prototype back. And I think that you look at him, you talk about that contact balance, the yards after this is the kind of dude you want. And he just seems like off the field kind of leader that, this is the guy you want on your squad. And for me, the things he has to work on with the pass protection, everybody we've mentioned, pretty much you got to work on their pass protection. And I just think that this is a kid that you get him, in that fourth. And I definitely think, scouts are seeing who this kid is. You might not hear the NFL experts or whatever talking about him, but for me, I think people are going to find out who Endo is, and they will be excited if their team drafts him. So that's my number one guy here, just due to the fact that I think that we have the best chance of someone like him falling into 5th round with one of those 3 5th-round picks. I think the Eagles should go ahead, grab that, power back, give this man a little break so we don't have to run him into the dirt. But we got Saquon here, so it's not dire need. That's why I think, further down the line would be the better option. But some of those other guys, if the Eagles truly love someone's fallen, you never know what could happen. But that's all I've got for you here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If you got anything from this, do me a favor, hit that like button. You can subscribe down below. If you have any players that I didn't mention, somebody in your top list, I would love to hear your thoughts. You want me to go check somebody out, wasn't on the list, or they were on the list, you want to say whatever it may be, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. It's draft season, baby. So you sickos, get ready. We got quarterback show out now, running back, the receivers, tight ends, O-line, all that stuff's coming next week. We'll get into the defense, and we're going to do our mock drafts. We're going to do everything. We're going to be, dude, before you know it, draft time, baby. So hope you all enjoyed this, but that's all I've got for you. So until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there. Have yourselves a great weekend, and as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!